young girl named Kennedy, who's in love with her best friend Tess, decides to ask her out on her first real date, but things immediately don't go according to plan. Tess chooses for the date the Terrace Lanes bowling club, where Kennedy's father works, and invites her friends Pete and his jerk friend Cody. As if that wasn't enough to ruin the evening, the bowling alley is invaded by cult members, who plan to turn the establishment into a place of mass sacrifice. Characters of the movie visit the bowling club, Terrace Lanes, in its last night of work before demolition, and this is a real story. The club, in which the shooting took place, was really going to be demolished, so the authors of the movie had only 8 weeks to write the script and shoot the movie. If we keep this fact in mind, then the questions to "Last Night in Terrace Lanes" become not so relevant. But the audience does not care and should not care about the difficulties of the creators. By genre, it is a slasher with elements of comedy, and it is a slippery slope. In this genre, it is very important to keep the suspense, and the departure into eccentricity and buffoonery inevitably brings down the degree of tension and turns believable characters from flesh and blood into cardboard caricatures, which are difficult to worry about. We can't say that the authors of Last Night at Terrace Lanes avoided the pitfalls of synergy between the scary and the funny, but they honestly tried. Yes, there are scenes in the movie when characters on the verge of death suddenly start solving their personal problems or start talking in witticisms, but it doesn't come to outright clowning. The authors describe their movie as Die Hard in a bowling alley, but that's the part they succeed the least. The movie reaches its peak in the middle, when the cult members start a massacre, but it fails to keep the set pace further. The survivors of the first attack are scrambling around the back rooms, occasionally encountering some cult members, but it's not so exciting and tense. Toward the end, there are some contrivances, like the scene in which the characters, having already made their way outside, are forced to hide inside again for a blatantly implausible reason. But, again, we repeat that for the conditions under which the movie was created, its authors did their best. The film was produced by Eduardo Sanchez, one of the creators of the legendary The Blair Witch Project, and directed by Jamie Nash, his regular screenwriter, who wrote for Sanchez his horror films Altered, Seventh Moon, Lovely Molly, and Exists, as well as the best short story in the anthology, VHS 2, about a bicyclist with a GoPro camera who finds himself in the midst of a zombie epidemic at a children's party. Last Night in Terrace Lanes fits in this series of passable, but in its own way enjoyable genre projects, which are difficult to recommend to everyone, but which help fans of scary movies to kill the time, while waiting for something really good.